So, Giovana, um, if you can have your three Helen Cole letter in mind now, I'd like you to join me on a reflection process. And we're gonna go through a few questions, and these questions are gonna help us make better sense of those codes and what their order means, and they will help us get more prepared to which career pathway you can follow. Will be like a guideline for us and a direction, really.
Cool.
What is your three-letter Helen code? Do you remember?
Yeah, the test came up with SIA, so social, investigative, and artistic.
And what those letters mean to you? So can you explain which of those letters, each one of those letters, sorry.
I think for me, social, it's more like about the communication part, like communication skills. The investigative would be probably like problem solving, research, or how much you analyze, or like analyze like things in general. And artistic for me would really be related to maybe like what you're interested about and like your hobbies. I think I think that's it.
And how would you explain the order of your three Helen Cole letters?
I maybe wouldn't put social at first, but I think I'll probably just swap social and investigative.
So what would you put it first?
Yeah, I think I'll put investigative and then social and then artistic.
So I was going through your test, and on your mini IPP test, the personality one, you scored low for extroversion. And it's funny because on your Holland Code test, you scored high for social. So how do you perceive scoring low for extroversion on the mini IPP test and high for social on the ONET profiler test?
Interesting, but I kind of agree. I think like I consider myself not an extrovert person at all. I think for you to be extrovert, you need to be really like out there, like you would start a conversation, like you would come up with something out of the blue, like you would probably be comfortable like an environment with a lot of people that you don't know, and I'm definitely not that person. But I think I'm social when it comes to the communication part, like the communication skills, and social with my friends. Like when I've got like that comfortable environment, I consider myself social. So with friends, with family, with my partner's family, like at work, with people that I know.
Okay, so it sounds like even though you're not high on extrovert, you are not an extrovert person from what you're saying, you're still very social within your circle and with people that you're comfortable with and that you already know, right?
I think that's right.
Okay. And if you were to locate your letters on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being less important and 10 being most important, how would you put those letters on that scale? So how would you locate the first letter where in the scale from 1 to 10, and the second letter and the third?
I think in my order, like the investigative and social and artistic, I'll put investigative maybe like a, maybe a 7. Let's put it A. So investigative A, social would be probably a 7, and artistic a 5. Considering like how much I use daily about those traits on my daily basis.
Can you tell me a bit more about why would you put the investigative on a 8, for example?
I think maybe because I use that more my day to day.
Okay.
Maybe not more, but I think maybe I feel like stronger in that, like problem solving, or which I think that's what it's related to, like problem solving or coming up with an idea or researching or being interested in something and trying to fix that and analyzing something for it to be better in the future. I think it's really related to what I do at work. I have to do a lot of that, and maybe like in my personal life would be like friends coming up with an issue and I'll be trying to solve, like trying to give them advice. Like I'm that type of friend.
I see.
Yeah.
And is there any particular experience or event in your life that have influenced your 3-letter Holland code? Is there anything you can think of that you could share with me?
I think maybe the artistic part and the social, like a bit of influence from my dad, like his career. He's graduating journalism, but he worked always like with events, so he would plan the events and like, so he had to use all those communication skills. So plan the events, and but it would be like concerts, it would be like fashion walks or festivals, so artistic things. And I used to like just come along with him sometimes and like be there like with him, like, so I was always like watching him and probably like envisioning me doing those things. Yeah, definitely a bit of dad influence on those things.
Yeah, it sounds like he was a major influence for you.
Yeah.
And how do you interpret the location of your letters on the scale? So, for example, are they close together, evenly spaced, or far apart? So how do you interpret the location of your letters and how
I
are they?
think definitely social and investigative would be close, because I feel that I use those the most professionally and personally. And artistic will be slightly out because I don't use that much, like that on my, like at work, for example, which it's like 5 days of my week. So it feels like it's more like a hobby side, like a personal or like a free time or like a alone time, not really at work. So it gets like left.
So even though they are a bit together, all of them, do you think that the artistic one should be a bit more spaced out? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just because I just feel like I don't use that, or that side of me doesn't come out every day.
I see. And in what ways is the first letter of your code evident in your life? The S.
The social, yeah. Really evident, because I do, like my current job, like I have to take a lot of phone calls, I have to like reply to emails, I have to, like there's different departments in the office, like there's people around that I have to communicate. Like I have to report to my manager, like I'm constantly like using those like communication skills and having to be social within that environment. Yeah, and personally like just texting friends and like my partner, like, yeah.
Okay. And in what ways the second letter will be evident in your life? Letter I.
Investigative, like I will use that a lot at work too, like problem solving and like having to come up with a solution like quickly, or like analyzing something that happened that it should happen later, or that we could improve, or like taking feedbacks on board and things like that. And in my personal life would be definitely I'll be the friend trying to fix your issue. Yeah.
And what about the third letter? How is that evident?
I really relate that to hobbies. Like I am struggling a little bit to find how is that present on my work, like professional life. Maybe just because I don't have to use it. Like it's not really an environment where I would bring that up. So yeah, that would be like hobbies and things that I like to do and on my free time and things that I'm interested about.
Yeah. Can you tell me a bit more about the things that you're interested in doing that you think it's artistic for you? It relates to that.
I
A
think
bit more of your hobbies.
yeah. I'm really into like pottery and painting or like even like watching movies. I think it's like documentaries, things like that. But yeah, definitely like something with my hands, like painting, pottery, like
Arts
just
and
did.
crafts.
Yeah, I just did like a pottery course that went for like a month, so things like that, and it's usually really related to like a free time or alone time, really.
Okay, so you see this third letter more evident in your life. From what I'm hearing, it sounds like it is more evident in your personal life.
Yeah.
Okay. And what relationships do you see between these three letters and the various facets of your life? Not only on your workplace, but in other roles of your life, as a partner or as a friend, other areas.
I think the social part for my personal life would be really communicating or even like knowing how to communicate with like different people, like my friends, like different type of friends and my partner, and sometimes even just being there listening to them, which still I think is a type of communication. And investigative, yeah, I'm really like I would probably like take a lot of things rather than trying to fix a problem like from a friend. I would probably again listen to it and try to be like, okay, like analyzing like how we can do it or how I can help or like how I can be present for that person. And the artistic, it would just be hobby related.
Okay, yeah, that's good enough. And what personal qualities have you identified in your reflection so far that are most important to you? So, what can you get from this? What personal qualities identified?
To start with, like the social part, I was really like, oh, I'm not a social person, but it kind of made me think that like being social not necessarily has much to do with like being around 100 people and being happy. It's more like about like communicating and like writing and like expressing yourself even like in a different way, and even just being comfortable with people, like with your own circle, and yeah, taking note that I do apply those personality traits so much on my day-to-day basis. Like I've never really like thought about it.
Yeah. And just another question is, so on the test that you did, the Schwartz value survey, you score high for conformity. So having that in mind, that you have that value, conformity, how do you identify any connections between this value and a new career that you could follow?
Yeah.
So how does that value could influence a new career and a new job position that you have in mind?
I think conformity for me would be really, my understanding is that would be something that you would be following guideline, like rules, or you'll be following something, like you would, any work related for me would be really like, okay, Giovana, those are your tasks, like this is your day-to-day, this is what you're meant to do, like tick this, tick that, like I work like this, like I really enjoy when I'm giving it a job, but like knowing exactly what I need to do. So I think maybe that's why I'm looking as well, like in the professional side. I think it's lacking a little bit at my current job. like knowing what to do. So having guidelines and like procedures, like following something, I think it really works for me. I think even in life in general, like I'm that person that likes to take on board things, but if it's given me with like a description, like yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like having a guideline and being task oriented and being part of a hierarchy and knowing your position and what you need to do sounds like it's something that's good
important,
for you.
yeah,
Important
really
for you.
important.
Yeah.
Especially in the professional side, like work related.
Okay, well, thanks for your time and answering the questions. So now I think we can talk about the following sessions we're gonna have together. So I'd like to see you for 2 more sessions.